Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Today is a very special episode for those who are into the new home build series. We're going to do a couple of updates. We're going to do a new build that has some new types of construction methodology, and we're going to revisit one of the older new construction technology sites that had to do with the AAC blocks, and we're going to talk a little bit about things we might have missed in the last episode. Well, if you're into new home build construction, today's the episode for you. So anyway, without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Well, Ness and I are actually walking together. I'm honored to have Ness with me today going over to these build sites because she's normally working inside the house. We're going to be talking a little bit on the way to those build sites. But something I want to show you, all growing wild around here. And it's not places that people have planted stuff, but you can see things like this. You can see the papaya just growing wild on the sides of the streets here. There are lots and lots of banana trees all through the subdivision. As a matter of fact, I think this entire block over here, which is a couple of blocks back from Villa Feliz, you can kind of see the solar panels on the top of a house at the end of the hill. But I think most of these lots are already sold. And there are still openings, I think, for some of the lots on this side, if anybody's interested in looking at properties in the Philippines, specifically in the Batangas area. Now, on our way to the build site, you probably notice she's walking with an umbrella. And normally, if you're from the US, it's kind of unusual to see somebody in the middle of the afternoon when it's not raining with an umbrella. But in the Philippines, it's not unusual to see a beautiful lady walking down the street with an umbrella in the middle of the sunny day. And that really has to do with, well, Ness, you explain to them what you're doing.
Well, most Filipinos don't want to get darker. Yeah.
Well, you know, we like our sun worshipers in the U.S. We're looking to get that nice, really nice tan, of course with protection of the sunscreen that you should be using. But in the Philippines, they are born with this beautiful glow of golden skin, and they don't want to get any darker. So while they're trying to get whiter, we're trying to get darker. Go figure. Anyway, one of the things that I wanted to talk about today on the way walking over to the two new home builds is we had some visitors. We normally try to share and do shout outs for the visitors that come to see us at Villa Feliz. Let me look, we had so many. November, as we said in the last episode, was a huge month for visitors from around the world who always like to stop. And we have so many friends from the vlog site. They always stop in and we have a nice chat, maybe some lunch, maybe some coffee, maybe some dessert, and it's always a real pleasure to have our friends come and visit us. Anyway, let's go ahead and look. Let's look, because I can't remember all the names. There's so many names. Let's look on our notepad that we have here, and we'll share with you who visited us over the last week or so. So on 11/24, so November 24, we were visited by a really lovely family, and that was Mark and Jennifer and Shaina. Colette. I'm sorry, Mark, if I messed up your name. Anyway, they come to visit us on the 24th, and they're actually looking, I think they're looking for a property somewhere here in Batangas. And we had a great time with them. Also, just a couple of days later, let's see what I got on here, on Thanksgiving. And this wasn't any visitors from around the world or anything. We had a big gathering. Remember, in the US, Thanksgiving is celebrated on Thursdays. Well, what we did to accommodate people, because it's not a holiday over here, what we did was on good morning, maga. So anyway, we moved our Thursday Thanksgiving celebration to Saturday for all the people that couldn't take time off while they're working and stuff like that on Thursday. So we had a big Thanksgiving, and it coincided, by the way, with the big England versus US the soccer match, football as they call it, over in England for the World Cup. for the World Cup. That's right. And we watched that. Although it tied 0-0, that kind of led the U.S. for us. Allowed them to continue to compete, and they're still in competition, so we're still rooting for those guys. So we had a great time. We had a great turnout. And we even had a visit by our good friend Addy, and he's up like in the northern part of Manila. He drove his motorcycle all the way down.
From about 3 hours on a motorcycle.
On a motorcycle all the way down here to visit us and be part of our big Saturday get-together. And that's something that we do almost every Saturday here. We have like an open gate policy for the neighbors here, and we enjoy the gathering and festivities with our neighbors as well. Let's go ahead, let's see what's next on here on the calendar. December 1st. December 1st we were visited by some really nice people, a great family who is always sending us comments, and that is Walter, Christina, and Clara Taylor from and they had family visitors that came along with them also, and that was Sabelle, Carlota, Esther, and Robbie Fisher, and the family came in between, coming in from Guam and Pampanga. So we had a great celebration with those folks as well. And also, that was Clara. Clara was the one that played that wonderful music for us. She's actually a music major. Clara, yeah. And she performed with the violin for us. And that was a first for us here at Villa Feliz. And last but not least, we got visited yesterday. By our friends from the barangay, and that was the Knights of Columbus. And our good friend, who's a part of the Knights of Columbus down in Barangay Anilao for the Knights of Columbus. And they're always looking for things like sponsorship to help out with needy programs. So we kind of helped them out a little bit with that as well, for what they do to help out the community. Well, that was our visitors over the last week. So you can see we've been really active, and kind of probably wondering why. Sometimes we don't get, we're kind of late on posting some videos because we have so many visitors and a lot of things going on here. Well, we are actually we're going to do this real quick. We are right in front of our friend Glenn's build. And if you remember, this was the site that we discussed about AAC blocks, and the AAC blocks are the wall construction here. You can see there's a lot that has advanced since the last time. That's, you see up there, they have the fascia that's installed for the roofing in there. That wasn't there the last time. I don't think there was a lot of roofing ironwork that was done on the last time as well. So let's go ahead. I just want to briefly talk about one thing. I don't think there was even a fence up here. Was there a fence the last time we came here? I don't think so. So they got their fence almost completed. We're going to focus on the AAC blocks. Let's go inside and take a look at that. All right, well, I'm not going to bother the workers here, but something that we caught on the last episode when we were covering the AAC block installation, we were talking about how you actually do the install. And something that I caught, and I briefly spoke with the owner of the property right here about my concerns, was the fact that last time that we were here, there was an issue with them not doing any fill. There was no adhesive fill on the vertical sides of each one of the AAC blocks. What they were doing, they were putting adhesive on the top and the bottom, but these were open. You could actually see through there. Also, the amount of overlap was incorrect last time. When I say overlap, you see where you have a block here, and then the blocks on the top should line up as close to the center as possible, and it has to do with support. You don't want your entire line to be the same all the way down. And a lot of them were maybe only about this much, very close to the edge, which makes your wall weaker. So what they did, they corrected it. So after we discovered it, and I talked with the owner about it, the owner went to the contractor and spoke with the contractor and asked them why they didn't fill these. Well, the contractor, through no fault of his own, the contractor actually, this is the first time they have done AAC block construction. And the contractor went back to the manufacturer and asked for some tips, whether they were doing something wrong or right, and they got a better explanation of how to do it, which again has to do with the overlap, making sure that the overlap was approximately as close to center as possible on the block below it, as well as the amount of adhesive all the way around. 100% has to be done with the adhesive. So they corrected that. The other issue that we had before, and we discussed it, what had to do with where it connects into the column here. And remember, there are dowels, and dowels inside here, they don't do steel reinforcement rebar that goes across the entire length, and that's not the correct procedure for AAC blocks. They use about an 8-inch dowel. The dowel comes out from here, and it goes into the joint between two of the AAC blocks. And what they were doing before, they were cutting out a big area, and they were putting, you see this foam that they have inside here. They were using foam on the actual dowel, the 8-inch dowel that went through there, which meant there's a little bit of play inside there, and you cannot have any play. So what the problem was, they had to remove all of the blocks. They removed all of the blocks that they did before. The contractor was responsible, and they they completed all new construction of the AAC blocks here. So they got it right this time. Again, these are important that they have these here, and this is a seismic gap that they have inside here that we talked about in the previous episode. Here is the only place here, and along the top up there, there will be a seismic gap. But you must make sure that your 8-inch dowels that go through are completely covered with the mortar or the adhesive, so that you have the strength and the wall cannot shift back and forth. And they corrected all that. And that's really what we wanted to cover on this build. And we're going to come back later on, take a look once they get a little bit further in some of the construction inside here. We're going to see some of the finishing that goes on in this build as well. Let's go ahead and go over to another build site that has to do with a different type of construction, a different kind of wall. Of course, these are AAC blocks. Then you have normally concrete hollow blocks, or you can have solid form walls inside. We're going to go to another site that does something even different from these three types of strategies here that we talked about today. All right, Ness, what do you think about Glenn's place? How's that going, huh?
Well, you could see that it's getting nicer and nicer.
It's getting nicer and nicer. Yeah, that's going to be a beautiful build, and we'll cover that all the way to the end, so you can see it, especially when they get to the finishing side. There's some really nice finishing that the architect put together for that house. Now, where we're going for the next new home build project is directly on the other side of this lot right here. We're going to walk around the street, and then we're going to go over to the other side. You can actually see a little bit of the construction through all the weeds that are growing up over here. Now, this next construction, I'm going to start off, I'm going to lead into it by saying you already know the builder, you already know the owner, and you say, builder and owner? Is the builder building his own home inside our subdivision here? And yes, yes he is. And it's our good friend Romeo Nosete of Caribbean Construction, who's already built several houses here in the subdivision, and now he's building his own home here inside the subdivision as well. And this is going to be really interesting. Why is it going to be interesting, Ness? Okay, so she doesn't know why it's going to be interesting, and I'll tell you why I think it's going to be interesting, because it's always interesting to see how a builder would build his own house. So we're going to ask him some specific questions.
That was what I was thinking.
I know that's what you were thinking. I was just trying to get you to lead into that one. So we're going to go talk with Romeo and see where they are in their construction today, and hopefully pass on some great tips on some new home construction as well. Morning. Morning, Maga. Now before we go into speaking with Romeo about this construction over here, we have one more person to recognize. As you know, sometimes we show up at the mall to do some shopping and things like that, and we run into some of our subscribers, our viewers of our channel. And yesterday we had to go in and we had to pick up a couple of things for a party that we're going to this evening. Our Rotary Club has a party. so we had to pick up some items for that. While we were there, we ran into, well, actually, we ran into, I'm going to say 1.5, because the
Oh, there's a baby.
There was a baby. There was a baby. We ran into one of our subscribers, Ali.
Ollie and Ollie de Mapilis.
Yeah, and his daughter, and we ran into them inside SM Department Store. That was SM Department Store, and we had a really lovely chat with Ali. We didn't have a chat with his daughter because his daughter, I think, was sleeping most of the time we were inside there. But we want to thank you for approaching us, Ali, and giving us an opportunity to talk with you. And it was a great chat. And we actually, when you say a half, we almost had another one because we were in the elevator. Remember that? We were in the elevator, and we were getting ready to go down from the parking lot down. And as we were going, we were in the elevator, and the elevator doors were closed. I think there was one of our subscribers there, and they were like, ah! And then the door closed on them, and we didn't get a chance. And we are so sorry. If you ever see us again in the mall or anywhere else, please grab us, and we would love to have an opportunity to chat with you. Anyway, we're here, and I got to tell you, I'm excited because there's a lot more construction here. And this is actually Romeo in the white truck behind us. And I'm glad he's here, and we're going to talk with him in just a moment about what's going on this build.
Salamat.
Romeo!
Yeah, how are you?
Kumusta?
Mabuti.
Morning there. Good morning, good morning. You remember the electrician. This is the electrician for Caribbean Construction here. And anyway, I see something very different here going on. I'm excited. Now, look, can we go over?
Okay.
And what we see here that's a little bit different, or a lot different from what you normally see. You don't see concrete hollow block here. That's not concrete hollow block. And that's not formwork with the big dowels that go through. Let's talk with Romeo about what he's actually doing here on his build. All right, Romeo, I thank you for inviting me over to your build over here, and congratulations on being a neighbor. Being one of my neighbors here. Anyway, there is something really different what you're doing here. I've never seen this before. Anyway, I can see that this is going to be a wall. So can you just, what type of construction is this for wall? What do you call this?
They call it wall panel.
They call it wall panels.
Yeah, wall panels.
Okay, so I notice there's like foam spacers inside here, and I see the traditional rebar. I see the traditional rebar inside here. So my assumption is, from building a little bit before, is that this is going to be filled with concrete. This is going to be filled with concrete.
All filled with concrete.
All filled with concrete. So it's, what's the difference between this type of filling in with this type of board, and also if you can explain what this board is, what's the difference between this and when you're using formwork, you know, when you put the little spacers that go inside, what's the difference?
Yeah, this one, actually this is not a form, this is already there. So when you cast it, you're not going to take this one out. This will be the wall now, and so there's no need to plaster.
No need to plaster. Oh, yes. That's a time saver right there.
Yeah, no need to plaster.
I got to tell you, this is like the smoothest finish that it's going to be so easy. But for the gaps, for the joints inside.
No, we're just going to put the fiber plus the skim coat.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll do like the mudding, like you would normally.
Yeah, the mudding. Yeah, the mudding.
You do on the roof panels, the ceiling panels.
Yeah,
like
the same. Yeah.
You would do the same that you would do there. Very, very nice. And what is this material here made out of?
Actually, this is the brand is Graditel. And yeah, it's a cement board.
It's a cementous board.
Yeah.
Yeah, cementous board. So you have cementous board with cement on the inside, and then you have one. It's almost like a solid wall.
Yeah, solid. Yeah, all solid.
Oh wow! Now, how many other contractors do you know that do this? Is this something that's normally done here in the Philippines?
They are doing now in other places.
Yeah.
They're doing a mass housing.
In the Philippines.
Yeah, here in the Philippines.
Okay. Yeah. So this is tried and true type of construction that you got right here.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that when this is all poured like this, you don't have to do anything. Almost nothing on the outside. It's almost ready for a little bit of for a base coat,
the base coat,
like Boysen's.
Yeah, like Boysen or Davies.
Boysen or Davies, and then put your finishing coat right on top of it. Very quick for finishing.
And also, if you're going to take a look at the plumbing work here, because this is the master. This is the master bedroom.
Okay.
So this is the walk-in closet,
Oh, this is a big one.
and this is the bathroom, and you
And
will
the
see the
bathroom.
difference now.
And you're yeah, I see you're already roughed in. You're already plumbed
Yes.
in for your sink and for the toilet.
Yeah,
right
for the
there,
toilet,
For
yeah.
the toilet, and maybe the shower.
Yeah,
the
yeah, for the shower,
throwing
yeah.
that in right there. All right. So, and this is just regular styrofoam. Now, when you buy this material right here, does it already? Do you have to do this? Are you the one that puts the foam inside there, the spacers, and you put the adhesive, or does it come already like
Let's
this?
come. You have we have
Oh, let's take a look.
the stuff there.
Let's go look at the raw materials that you have delivery on. Let's take a look at this. So this is the way it's delivered from the manufacturer.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, from your supplier. So there you go. Take a look at this. Man, I know, and that's going to speed up the process
Yes,
too.
yeah.
Oh. Because the last time I was here, when did you put this in?
Yeah,
must have been-
2 days ago.
2 days, because the last time I walked by here, there was nothing. All you had was
Two days ago, but we started in the afternoon.
Yeah, I missed the pouring of the slab over here. I missed that. You already got the slab poured and
Yeah.
everything over here. So anyway, so this is the new technology that we're talking about over here. We wanted to, because we just walked over to Glenn's site and we looked at the AC blocks, and they
Yeah.
did a great job fixing all those gaps that they had inside
Yeah.
there. You know, they had to remove all of those blocks and redo that all up, but the contractor over there assumed the liability for that, the financial liability, and he did the right thing to make sure that that was done correctly over there. So Glenn's got a good build going on as well. Well, I'm excited, Romeo.
Yeah, this old panel. We're go after we cast this one, then again we're going to put the second panel.
Oh, okay, then you're going to stack it.
Yeah.
Then you'll be stacking on
So
the
this is
second one.
the difficult one.
Okay.
The rest will be easy.
So is there anything that you have to do after you pour this one? Is there anything in preparation from the first level pour to the second? Is there anything you have to do in between? Or
No, it is the same. We're just going to cast it 10 centimeter below.
Okay.
Then we're going to add another one.
Oh, then it will slip right in. It'll be like a
Yes.
tongue and groove, almost
Yes,
like that.
yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll try to come back over here. Once you get all this done, you let me know when you're starting the next level.
Yeah,
and we'll come over
okay.
for that. All right. Well, that's about it. Anyway, Romeo, thank you very much for
Yeah, okay.
explaining this, and we're going to continue to follow your build over here as well. Well, because this is something I don't think I've seen anybody else cover for this specific kind of build. So, good stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah, okay then.
And on the 26th, which was a Saturday, we did a belated Thanksgiving and World Cup event. We got everybody together. We got our family, we got our neighbors, and we all attended our normally Saturday get-together
Yeah.
to watch. And that was when England versus the USA. And we were
Okay,
visiting.
yeah. It's a World Cup.
It was a World Cup, and the USA is still going. Go USA! Anyway, we also were visited on that one. We had one of our friends from Pampanga,
Pampanga.
all the
Yes,
way
from Pampanga.
northern part of Manila. That came down, and he drove his motorcycle.
3 hours.
Yeah,
on a
Addy from
motorcycle.
Iceland. He drove through 3 hours to come down here and visit us and be part of our Saturday
Yeah.
get-together. But Addy, thanks for taking the time out and joining us. Well, we are going to close out today's episode. The primary reason for today's episode was to talk about the new techniques in the new home construction, and I hope we were able to share some good information with you. You have lots of choices, and when I say lots of choices, mainly for the wall construction is what we were talking about. It has to do with the concrete hollow block, formwork, AAC blocks, or the panel walls like we saw just today at Mr. Nocete's, Romeo Nocete's built with the Caribbean construction crew. And they all have different types of attributes. It all depends on the size of your house, the insulation factor that you're looking at, the speed at which you can build it, how easy it is to do the finishing. So those are all things that you probably should think about when you are deciding what type of wall do you want to build inside your house. You know what? I can see it was really hot back there. I can see why the umbrella might be a good thing to. I might have to start carrying an umbrella myself.
Yeah, you should.
Well, that's about it. That's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed and you'll be notified the next time we upload a new video. So until such time, from right here in the beautiful Philippines, have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.